All right. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Good. Perfect. I don't know if any of us has as much energy as Gusty, but thank you so much, Gusty, and everyone for being here this morning. My name is Jordan Wright. I don't know what's about to happen, but my name is Jordan Wright, and I'm the lead for Canada Games planning at Memorial. We'll smile for a second. And we're delighted to have you here with us. This is our campus engagement session. We hosted one in 2024, and we're happy to be here again in 2025. Certainly want to thank everyone for coming here in person, and online we've got 175 people right now. So quite a good group online and in person here today. So just to get started, we do want to do a land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups, and we acknowledge the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit. So a little bit about the day and sort of what this morning is going to look like. This is the second of these sessions. Primary objective is really to share and to raise awareness. Obviously, the Canada Games are coming up pretty soon. Karen's going to tell you exactly how many days shortly, but they're coming upon us pretty soon, and we want to raise awareness. We want to get engagement. And as much as we're sharing information here, we also do still have time to listen. As with any project, we're in sort of incremental and iterative mode. So as we hear things, as we learn things, there is still time to incorporate this into our planning. So we want to share information, gauge some feedback, and then also do some listening. And again, this is a session, so most of our speakers today will be mic'd up, and so we'll try and make sure that any Q&A also has a microphone. So you'll hear some information from us. We do have a few guest speakers, and then there will be a Q&A session at the end, so certainly we'll have time for discussion. And a quick overview of the agenda. We're going to have an update from the host society here shortly about Canada Games in general. We're also happy to debut here today our Crosby Community Spotlight Series, which has not been seen by pretty much anybody yet. So we're happy to show that here momentarily. We will have Dr. Katie Wadden sharing with us also about some of the academic legacy work that's happening here on campus. And then we're going to get into sort of what you can expect here on campus, some of the planning that's been happening, certainly talk about some opportunities, a little update on capital projects, and we'll discuss our accommodations and housing, and then our Q&A session. So that's it for me to start. I'm now going to invite Sheriff, CEO of the 2025 Host Society, to come up and debut our video and share what the Host Society has to say about the Karen.
I think I'm on. Can you hear me? Good. Yeah, we're really excited to showcase that. We've been doing our Community Spotlight series for, Elizabeth, about a year now. So we've debuted a number of community organizations, individuals. They're amazing opportunities to showcase links of past games and great partners that we have within the community. So really excited to showcase, and I think you're going to see a pretty familiar face in this Community Spotlight series, and then I'll be back to give you a little update on the games.
Before the games, we noticed in the paper an advertisement for to meet at Torbay Rec Center for a meeting that talked about forming a water ski committee and team to represent the province in the games. Just the town was alive, and the whole experience of living on campus and meeting all the athletes from all over the country, competing in a national event on Kitty Vitty Lake. And at the time, I studied computer science, and it was an eye-opener to the size of the university and the opportunities that we had. It was a small faculty. We started with punch cards. So that's how far it's come.
I remember being at the cabin, and my mom and my aunt, they broke out their ponchos, their Canada Canada Game ponchos with a big crest on it, and that kind of sparked my interest of, okay, they were a part of this team. It happened here in St. John's, and just, you know, wanting to learn more about it. And I got picked up by a team, and we all started rowing the same year on Kitty Bitty Lake. As a first-year undergrad student, our MUN team was very supported. So as a rower, we had our club team, and we traveled, and we got to wear the Seahawks crest, which was really cool. Most of our team that went to Canada Games, including the coaches, were all from MUN, so we felt very supported there. You know, very intense training regimes. You know, you see your teammates more than your family the summer leading up to the games. And, you know, I just became so resilient through that training experience, and that's something that I've taken into my career, into academia. So I'm teaching the Gender, Sport, and Physical Activity course for a Canada Games Legacy course. When I was doing my research program, I didn't see any women doing research on females. So I hope to be able to be that person to show younger students that you can do this, that we can change the way traditionally things were done. Mom was kind of like our behind-the-scenes coach. She was a great balance between a mother and then the coach, because of, I guess, the experience that she's had being a competitive athlete herself.
It was exciting because they could enjoy the same experience that I had had. Just like to be in the city during the games, just to see the excitement and all the people going around in their uniforms, and like the whole place will be alive. And, the experiences last a lifetime.
I Gusty. Gusty's our favorite fish ever. You gonna stand by me as we? There we go. So yeah, thank you, Katie, and your mom for doing that. I didn't realize I wasn't turned on there. So just a little update on the games. We are 149 days away, and we are counting down every day, hour, minute, and second right now at the Host Society. So very exciting. We have a huge team of staff now. Almost 75 staff with us, and over 400 planning volunteers actively involved every day of the games. Just a little bit about the games. The games is going to take place August 8th to the 25th of this summer. It is the largest multi-sport event that happens in Canada. We host every second year, alternating between winter and summer games. And it's truly an inclusive games. We will have able-bodied athletes as well as athletes competing in parasport and Special Olympics in swimming, athletics, and cycling. We will have athlete representation from over 800 different communities, and 22 communities have hosted the games in the past. And as you can see, 1977 was the last time it was hosted here in St. John's, 1999 in Corner Brook for our Winter Games. And we're excited to have it back here for this summer. Just on a few things happening at MUN, we've been really busy working with many departments at MUN over the past few years. And just to give you a little idea of some of the things happening here at MUN, week one, we will see basketball at the field house. Exactly, Gusty. Gusty will be performing too. Week two, we'll see volleyball, indoor volleyball. The Ack Arena will have swimming in week one, and artistic swimming and diving happening in Gusty's favorite sports will be occurring at the Ack Arena, all aquatic sports. And the Fortis Canada Games Complex will have soccer happening in weeks 1 and week 2, with athletics happening in week 2 as well. So really busy hub of activity going to be happening at 3 sport venues here in the MUN vicinity. And then also with the Games Village being here, this is really truly the home away from home for, we are now, I used to say trending to be the largest ever Canada Games. We will be the largest ever Canada Games in terms of numbers of participants, athletes, coaches, managers, mission staff coming. So we will wear that badge proudly. So we will be, from accommodations, dining hall, various meeting spaces for the teams, volunteer lounges, entertainment spaces, command centers. So all of our operation centers for the games will be located here at MUN as a real hub of activity. All the provincial territorial mission staff teams will be working out of the education building for the couple weeks of the games. And in this space, we will have our media broadcast center. And every morning at 7 a.m., all of our chef de mission and assistant chef de missions from each province and territory will meet. Yes, I said 7 a.m. for 21 days straight, upstairs at a room upstairs. So, huge thanks to MUN for everything that they're doing and helping us with that piece. I think most of us come to work every day, not just because of the 18 days of the games, which will be an amazing and exciting, but really and truly the impact that the games can truly have on community, our surrounding communities. We're currently ranging in around close to 80 million in 25 different capital projects from here to CBS. The economic impact of just the 18 days of the games will be $120+ million. So huge boost to the economy, to the community, to our restaurants, our hotels, our entertainment, you name it, our car rentals, our taxis, huge. We also have this national platform that will be looking at us for those 18 days and tons of media attention already occurring from across the country. We have official training. We will bringing in 500 major technical officials from across the country, but we'll also be training a number of officials here locally who will continue to go on and have great expertise and education around that for future events. Our volunteers, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but this is a huge boost to our communities. We will require over 5,000 volunteers to execute this event. Lori, our manager of volunteers, is here. Big job, big team. To fill 31,000 hours of shifts needed for the time of the games. We have key pillars that we're always going by, our social pillars, including equity, diversity, inclusion into everything that we're doing. And we have recently named MMSB as our sustainability partner. We will be the first games to do benchmarking for future games. We've actually partnered with another university as well, University of Toronto, for a significant research project in sustainability as well. So huge. We are trending to be the greenest games ever and to really set a benchmark for future games as well. And just some of the impact, MUN, we've been really fortunate. Karen and Anne-Marie are here, and Katie, and been able to work with a lot of classes within HKR. We've been in for presentations. I've been in. Many of our staff have been in. We've had students on work terms ever since last winter. Every semester, we've had a new 1 or 2 work term students, and we've been thrilled to have them. I started in 1999 as a work term student for the 1999 Canada Games, so I know how important and valuable that is. We have volunteers, we have students on a number of our committees right now, our planning volunteer committees from Memorial University. Just some things, the Acronym is a massive project built for the 1977 Games, big legacy to the community since then, and hopefully will be a huge legacy to the community well after that. So as the Games, we've been looking at a brand new score clock that is going to be on the walls up there, new springboards, and many, many other things within the project. Some upgrades to the lighting at the field house. Burton's Pond, you've seen some changes to the exterior of Burton's Pond, still work to do. There'll be door replacements, stairwell cleaning, landscaping happening now in the spring. The ramp to Gouju Hall, huge thing for accessibility. We were really looking at what that looks like, our path of travel for all athletes, coaches, managers. No matter the ability, has to be the same for everyone. So this was a huge, huge win and huge asset for people to access Gouju dining hall. As we will be feeding, Mary is in charge of food here, feeding up to 700-800 an hour for 18 days. So massive, being able to have them good access is great. And some washroom accessibility changes within the education and arts building. So student involvement, I talked a little bit about that. As I said, we've really been proud to have the number of students that come through. Business students and HKR students have been part of our journey and our host society, and they keep coming back, and we hope to see them for the summer as well. We're also working with Karen and a graduate student on our Safe Sport program. So we're the first games to have a Safe Sport committee. Worked really closely with the Canadian Olympic Committee for Funding and Canada Games Council on 4 significant initiatives around safe sport. Karen Murphy's also on our committee for that. So really proud to have that influence from MUN and a student who's now able to really dive into the 4 initiatives that we have. And as I said, many students and staff who are currently working on a number of committees. The next thing is the volunteer opportunities, which is so significant. This slide now, it can be updated. Lori, over 3,400 now registered as of this morning. Our goal is 5,000. And that's including 500 bilingual volunteers. So any students you know, please send them our way. As I said, we have 150 different roles to fill, so there's really something for everyone. A great volunteer kit that everyone will get. You won't miss the volunteers for those 18 days going around, and we will unveil our volunteer whole kit and uniform in the next, in upcoming weeks. So if you're interested, we have a volunteer center that's open now Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you can go onto our website and sign up as well. And just other events and programs that we have happening at the games. On June 11th, we will be lighting the torch in Ottawa, and then we have a full torch relay that will go to 16 communities across our province, including Labrador. That's a really exciting journey for us, and it will lead right into the opening ceremonies to ignite the flame on August 9th at our opening ceremonies. The other things that are occurring, as I just talked about, opening, closing ceremonies, they're really like the pinnacle, the start of the games, the welcome everybody here, and really the huge, big celebration party on August 24th to close out the games and our journey. This will happen at the Mary Brown Center, and we are working with Multicolor out of Quebec to plan the whole ceremonies, and it'll be quite the spectacular show. We also have an artistic festival and cultural program. This will span around 15 days of the games. It will be at various locations of the games. We'll be launching that around 50 days out. Elizabeth, yeah. 50 days out. And it'll just be really encompassing of culture here, you know, showcasing amazing artists, musicians from all around our region, from Atlantic Canada and from across the country. So that's going to be a very robust program. We're working with our community partners in other municipalities as well around this piece. And just so you can stay in the action here, we have a number of things. Our website, if you haven't downloaded our 2025 Games app, we're the first games with an app. It will keep you up to date on everything Canada Games. We're in kind of our second version. There's currently a great contest out there if you want to have anyone want to come, a VIP experience for the opening ceremonies, everything paid for, hotels, tickets, everything. So if you know of anybody interested, we'll also be having our 100 Days Out celebrations upcoming now in 49 days. And there'll be a whole fun program that's going to happen on the app. There's monthly newsletters you can subscribe to on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media accounts. So please stay in action, see what's happening with the games. They'll really be the place to be looking for sports schedules and everything you need to know about the games. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jordan, and I'll be back for some questions at the end. Thank you.
Much, Karen. Okay, we'll figure that out in a second. But for now, I'd like to introduce Dr. Katie Wadden. Katie was featured in our Community Spotlight series video a moment ago. Katie's an alumni of 2005 rowing with the Canada Games. She's also a Memorial University alumna and is an assistant professor, School of Human Kinetics and Recreation here at Memorial. So Katie's getting mic'd up, but Katie, come on up.
Normally I'm a nervous speaker and now I'm an emotional nervous speaker after watching that video. So as Jordan said, my name is Katie Wadden and I'm assistant professor in the School of Human Kinetics and Recreation. And I can't believe that it's been 20 years now since my Canada Games experience in 2005. I want to thank you all very much for having me here today and allowing me to speak about my experience as an athlete and now as someone who's integrating the Canada Games into my coursework. So my decision to pursue a degree in kinesiology and a master's of science in kinesiology at Memorial University was deeply influenced by my family and the sporting community here in St. John's that I grew up in. I can't play this game on you guys today because the video gave it away, but one of my favorite pieces of family trivia that I like to ask my students is for them to guess the sport that both my mom and my aunt competed in during the 1977 Summer Games in St. John's at Quidi Vidi Lake. So as you guys know, water skiing, it often shocks the students that that was their sport. I mean, we all know the climate here, and we all know Quidi Vidi Lake. Maybe it's a place that none of us would enter the waters there. But I did tell Mom that I think that she should, the Canada Games, if you guys were doing something down there, that video of Mom doing her trick run was 5 years ago. So she would have been 62, 63. So she can still do it if you need her. I only wish that my grandparents were here to see that. I want to thank Elizabeth very much for putting that together. It's such a beautiful piece that my family can now have forever. So I want to thank you and your communications team very much for that. We kind of touched on it in the video, but my older sister Jenny, she earned a Bachelor of Commerce and she competed in both the summer and the winter games representing Newfoundland and Labrador for hockey and for water skiing. My younger sister graduated Bachelor of International Business and she competed in ice hockey at the games. And this winter, I have had the great privilege of continuing our family's connection to the Canada Games through a Canada Games Legacy course. So the course that I'm teaching this semester is an undergraduate course, and it's called Gender and Sport. And we had the great privilege of having Karen come to our course as a guest lecturer and talk to the students about the Canada Games and her experience there. So different topics that we discuss are related to how gender shapes experiences in sport, health, and physical activity. We discuss critical topics such as journeys of female and gender diverse sport leaders at the Canada Games. And with that being said, I want to acknowledge that Karen is the first ever female CEO of the Canada Games. So I want to give her a big round of applause. She likes to be humble about it, but I like to celebrate it for her. So we're really excited about the Canada Games. As Karen mentioned, we're incorporating it in different courses. I know Karen Murphy taught a course this fall, and she integrated the Canada Games there, and the students absolutely loved it. I want to give a big shout out to two other of our faculty members, Dr. Erin McGowan and Dr. David Hancock. So they are the province's only two certified mental performance coaches, and they are providing our athletes with sports psychology support before and during the games. I know they're very excited. It's all they talk about right now. For research, we've formed a multidisciplinary research team with faculty members from our faculty in HKR, as well as in the School of Business. I see Dr. Brown Chaver there. So we formed this working group together with faculty members from the University of Regina, as well as Brock University, and we're going to be looking at women in leadership positions at the Canada Games. So I hope that Karen will be a participant in our study. But in conclusion, I really hope others are sharing my excitement and my faculty's excitement for incorporating the Canada Games into your research or into your teaching, or taking advantage of the volunteer opportunities. As my mom said, this place is going to come alive, and MUN will really be at the center of it all. So if you are interested in exploring how the games can potentially enhance your own course content, or if you'd like to be a part of our research team, we're always accepting different faculty members with different perspectives. Feel free to reach out, and I'd love to have a chat with you. So thank you all so much. And yeah, bring on August.
Thank you. Oh boy. One of these days I'll be right, hey? Thank you, Katie. I think Paul's fixing me somewhere, perhaps. But thank you, Katie, and it's lovely to hear the work that's happening with academic legacy on campus and sort of how the Canada Games is, I guess, present in our teaching, learning, and public engagement. And a big thank you to both the School of Human Kinetics and Recreation and Faculty of Business Administration, certainly as Katie mentioned. So now we're going to turn over to a few things we've been working on here internally at Memorial, and I do see a lot of familiar faces here in the room. So thank you so much to a number of our partners who are present here today within the university to provide support and help. And I see Paul at the back of the room maybe fixing me, so we'll see what happens there. So a few highlights, and Karen has mentioned this, Katie has mentioned it. The campus will come alive. Here I am, not alive at the moment. I will grab another microphone, maybe. Okay, we'll try this one. So campus will remain operational. Okay, we get this question a lot of what is going to be happening, what will campus look like during the games? It is operational during the games, and you can see there that we're generally going to be preparing campus right after exams finish on August 5th. Okay, we have adjusted the semester. I'll talk about that on another slide, but general campus preparations will begin on August 5th. We will be doing a few things here, there, and everywhere where we can leading up to August 5th to allow us more time and space, but we're really being conscious of the academic calendar to avoid conflicts. So campus preparations will be happening, and Restoring Campus really starts the day the Canada Games finish. So August 25th, Canada Games assures us they'll be out of here as quick as they can be, and we're going to help them as much as we can as well. And then the work, I guess, turns to getting ready for the fall semester. And so Karen mentioned it a little bit earlier about all these things that are happening on campus. And I should say, a lot of this information is on our website. You see it there on the side. This is constantly being updated. So everything I tell you today is only as good as today. Tomorrow it's not valid anymore. So please do check the website for updates, but no, we will be sure to communicate changes as they occur. But what does Campus Coming Alive look like? It's on the screen right there. And you can see that there are some buildings with higher use than others. So you can see there the field house as an example, and our accommodations area in particular will have a lot of activity. Some other buildings we have an office or a space being used. Those are shown in lighter blue. And again, we do have folks reach out to us sometimes and say which rooms in particular, which hallway, et cetera. So we do have a scrubbed down version of a room list on our website as well, just so you're aware. And again, this information is getting updated all the time. So what have we done with the semester? So last year we reported that the start and end date of the semester, or at least classes ending and the exam date, were updated. You can see them there on the screen in August. The fall semester actually does start on September 9th. So last year we said it was getting adjusted. Now we can tell you the date. And another adjustment for our students in particular, but also on the admin side that we're making some adjustments. The recreation fee is adjusted for this year during the summer period. So that applies to 14-week spring semester, 6-week summer semester, and medical students. So communication will be ongoing with students. Updates are happening to the academic diary. Finance Administrative Services and Registrar's Office are working on these things. So those are some adjustments that are happening for the semester. Something else that we've done since our last update was something called the Business Continuity Plan exercise. And we had some wonderful supports here in the room to help guide us through this process. And really it was to help identify across campus what are potential service impacts and how are units going to operate during the period of the games. We had over 25 submissions received. So what we've done with that is we've compiled a number of assumptions, a number of updates for our campus community. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen that a list of the assumptions can be found online. Again, those are only as good as the moment in time because these also will be updated. But we will run through a few here now that we can share with you. And again, for groups that did submit plans, we will be coming back to you soon with some feedback. So yes, there will be increased density on campus. One of the things that we've encouraged through our Department of Human Resources and through our Senior Leadership Council is to think about vacation and leave planning. Obviously, we have an excess leave deadline that's coming up this fall as well that I think all faculty and staff, or at least staff, are aware of, I should say. So thinking about who needs to be on campus, maybe when vacations are being taken, is certainly a consideration. Building access is there. Karen mentioned it earlier about accreditation. So there are spaces on campus that will be accredited. Most of those relate to the Games Village accommodations. So if you do need a separate accreditation for your area, we will let you know. But generally speaking, most buildings on campus will not need accreditation aside from the accommodations area. But if there are a few exceptions, we will reach out to you. And certainly from a labor relations standpoint, if there are duties or shifts required with respect to some of our union and labor relations, we have been working with a number so far. We do have memorandum of understanding signed with 2 of our NAPE locals right now, and we're working on our 3rd at the moment. So again, that work is also in progress, so you can reach out to Department of Human Resources if you have questions relating to labor relations. And then the 4 that are underlined, we have a bit more information, and you're about to get, I call this, drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot of information here. So this presentation will be online later. You can read and dissect every word. I'm not going to read every word here. But remote work has come up a lot, and working on campus. We want to be very clear that work on campus is available for those who want to work on campus. Okay, you do not need to work remotely. If you are set up with a remote work arrangement, and there's a new policy that'll be communicated shortly, but if you do have a remote work arrangement or want to explore it, you should speak to your unit, your manager, your supervisor about that, okay? There's some language there about having a memorial-owned asset. We do not have separate funds or budget available to purchase assets for folks to work remotely, so it must be done within your unit's ability to support this, okay? But working on campus is available for you. We have a parking plan that we'll talk about in just a moment, but we want to be very clear that, yes, remote work helps us from a density perspective, but if your preference is to be on campus, if you must be on campus, you can still be on campus. There's no issue with that, okay? So again, work is happening at the unit level relating to work plans. Volunteering. Karen mentioned this earlier. They're making great progress toward their goal of 5,000 volunteers. And so Memorial is also looking to help with that goal. And so the Department of Human Resources has approved guidelines for volunteer leave for the summer games. Some of that information went out, I believe, on Newsline and is on our Department of Human Resources website as we speak. And so if you are interested in volunteering with the Canada Games Host Society, you apply with the Canada Games Host Society, you provide your supervisor or manager with that sort of proof, I will say, that you're volunteering with them. But before you do so, have a conversation with them to see if you can be supported to do this. So Memorial will provide up to 2 days of volunteer leave to help the host society's goal of achieving 5,000 volunteers. But again, work with your supervisor, work with your manager before engaging if you are interested in the 2 days leave from the university. Parking planning. I figured this is everyone's favorite slide, and our parking coordinator is in the room to help me. So this map looks very familiar from last year. We haven't changed too much. You will note that there are a few areas that will become one-way traffic. Access will be restricted in certain areas. We are working on a communications plan to share this more broadly, so if you aren't here today, don't worry, this will be communicated in other ways. But you can see that we do have a number of lots that are licensed for the Canada Games and for the Canada Games Host Society. Now, how do we come up with that? Well, a few things to share with you. Last year, we were proactively doing lot counts, okay, unbeknownst to all of you. We were doing lot counts to see what does parking look like during the summer in this lead-up time. So that allowed us to work with our parking office to determine which lots we felt comfortable to license to Canada Games. So the first bullet there, if you have a permit and it is impacted by one of the licensed lots, you will be reassigned to another lot. We are doing our best to have close proximity. You will actually get to see the list now in a second, but we are doing our best with proximity. We recognize there is some inconvenience and disruption, and we appreciate your patience as we work through that. Again, lot counts were completed last year to help us with this assessment and the continuity plans that we received. You'll also notice there in one of the bullets that it was just recently approved, hasn't been communicated yet, but annual and summer permits sold prior to the games for St. John's campus will receive a permit discount, okay? So for the period of the Canada Games, if you are parking on St. John's campus and if you have an annual or summer permit that is purchased before the games, you will be credited for that, okay? There will be a discount on the permit for that purpose, okay? That will all be communicated pretty soon. There are other ways to help, certainly with parking and density. They're listed there below. Park and ride options, et cetera, are being worked on with the host society in general for the games, and they'll be able to share more information as we come forward. And we do also just have a little bullet there that says, if you are volunteering with the games and therefore eligible to park in a lot that is for host society, you can also park in that lot. You don't have to, and in some ways we don't encourage you to come to the permitted lot because we want to make sure we can accommodate everyone who's on campus. So here's this chart I was referencing. This is sort of the planned reassignment of lots. Some of you are looking and identifying with your lot right now and wondering, where is that new place that I will go? The parking map is certainly online. You will see on the right-hand side, this is subject to change based on parking plans. If we feel there are challenges with this, reach out to our office. We've had units that we've been working with already. And I do just want to draw attention to lot 15 there. And again, this is an update from the parking office, that as of May 1st this year, lot 15 will be changing over to a student residence lot that is independent from the games, okay? So those who are reassigned from 15 will be in 15B moving forward regardless of the games. So that's a change that's coming as part of the parking rollout this year. So again, if you also require or need a blue zone parking permit, you're encouraged to reach out to the parking office. So again, I know this is good information for a lot of people here today and online. So again, this will be available. We can still have conversation about it, but based on our lot counts, based on the continuity plans, we feel pretty comfortable that we can manage our permit lot holders with this reassignment. Then some other things, and again, I'm not going to read through every bullet here, but just to give you a sense of what did we glean from our business continuity exercise. So as an example, we got asked lots of questions. Will print and mail services be available? Yes, they will. It will not be interrupted. The QE2 library will still be available. You can see there that the Child Care Center's annual closure, so this is a closure that happens every year. We've worked together to align it with the dates of the Canada Games. So again, the closure for childcare this year will align with the Canada Games. That's an annual closure that happens and is aligned this year. Thesis defenses will be moving online. We can see some updates there from service units who are very closely working with the games and anticipate higher volume of work. So we encourage everyone in the business continuity exercise that if you have other units that you're working with, facilities, marketing communications, IT, OCIO, please reach out to them to talk about your projects because they don't have capacity to do everything all at the same time and they need lead time to plan. So again, we're encouraging groups to please reach out to service and support units if and as you need any help as they focus their attention on priorities for the summer. Things that are not listed here, there are more updates that'll be up on the website, but there are a number of units that told us we will not be impacted, business as usual, or we may explore a hybrid model of delivery. Again, these will all be updated on the website. If your group did not submit a continuity plan and you'd like to have your information out there, reach out to our office and we are happy to include it in material that's going up online. So as Karen mentioned, there's a lot of great things that come along with hosting the Canada Games in your region, in your municipality, and certainly on your campus. And so we really want to focus our attention on really what is a generational opportunity here to host in the St. John's area and specifically with Memorial University. One of the things that's currently active and out there is that we want to showcase Memorial. We have an extraordinary opportunity to have an audience here, 4,000 plus athletes. We have spectators, guests. There's going to be a lot of people on campus. So it's really a great opportunity to engage with people, to showcase Memorial, show what makes us special and unique, and really to drive recruitment is really what we're also thinking about. So if you do have an experience, it can be online or in person, We do have a form available online that we are asking for expressions of interest if you would like to have space in our sort of activation area on campus, where we will have opportunities to showcase Memorial. Our recruitment team will certainly be very involved. We're discussing this with a few other campuses now. So again, this is not restricted to St. John's campus. So if there are other campuses that would like to get involved, we're certainly open for those opportunities. So please, please, please reach out if you are interested in getting involved, showcasing your unit, showcasing things that we do excellent here on campus. And we'd really like to take advantage of this opportunity during the games. Aside from Karen's drive to 5,000, we are also going to be looking for a small-ish number, I will say, of volunteers to support those activations that we just mentioned. So after we get those expressions of interest in, we will see if and how many volunteers we need to support our booth, our activation. But also, we've been working with our campus enforcement group and recognize that we also might want some support in sort of looking at access to our permitted lots. And so we are, similar to other big events that happen on campus sometimes, looking for potentially some support with our campus enforcement team to help us with our permitted lots. So we will be doing a call for volunteers, for Memorial volunteers at the end of April, once we have a better sense of how many people we need, because we may not need very many. So we will reach out once we have a better sense of what we're looking for. And again, training and some visual identifier will be provided once we get to it there in a couple months. A few updates on capital projects, and certainly Karen talked about this with respect to investment that happens in the region, in the community relating to the Canada Games. A few images here for you. The ACK Arena certainly continues. There's a lot of members of our facilities management team here today. We're into commissioning right now, and a number of our systems are getting fired up, we will say. So this month is really active with commissioning. We still remain on schedule for our substantial completion, and we look forward to hosting the games in August. We have provided some updates just before the new year, and we're waiting now to get through commissioning to provide another update on kind of what it looks like in lead up to the games as well as after the games. Karen also mentioned the Fortis Canada Games complex right next door. This is a drone shot, obviously. That one is managed by the City of St. John's. We are a landowner in the project. We're certainly a very active participant in steering committee meetings, etc. And all the information about that project, updates on their schedule, more photos, etc., are available on the city's Engage St. John's page. So if you haven't visited before, you can find those online pretty readily, and they do update the photos pretty frequently. We will say you can see behind the building there's 3 other towers going up. We get asked this question a lot. What are we doing back there? The answer is nothing. There are accommodations being built there that are completely separate from Memorial University. Obviously, the private developer has interest in those being potential student accommodations and residences in future, but it's not a Memorial project. We are not involved. So certainly it's very congested there right now with the ACK Arena Fortis complex and the work-live site going up. But that's sort of our roles and responsibilities. Really, we're primarily responsible for the ACK Arena project over there. Karen also mentioned some wonderful upgrades that have happened on campus, and facilities management provided us with these lovely photos to really bring those to life. So that new ramp near Gouju Hall, you can see it there, has really changed the look and feel of the courtyard area there, has really taken universal design into consideration. And we have a wonderful area there now that's still being landscaped a little bit, but that's thanks to Canada Games funding that we were able to do that. We also have some exterior painting that has happened over at Burton's Pond. That's just one image there that you can see. We have some washroom accessibility projects that have happened on campus. And of course, now with construction season turning over here recently or soon, we will have some more projects happening. So you will see more work happening over in the residence area. We're going to be painting over in the phys ed gymnasium and a few other projects that are happening on campus. And again, this is all thanks to our partnership and financial support of the Canada Games Host Society. And then final slide here before we get into our question and answer, we get asked a lot about sort of what's happening over in housing, what's happening in the accommodations area. So as with every year, at the end of April, our accommodations primarily close, and we moved into a guest services operation for the majority of our residences. So this year, as we move forward into the spring, our residences will be undergoing maintenance and repair as we get into the summer. This opportunity to complete work will allow us to have benefits for current and future students as we move into the fall of this year. Information about residence planning and which accommodations will be closing, which accommodations would still be available, was communicated first last May of 2024. So this information has been communicated for some time. As we moved into the fall, all new student applications has also provided this information so that everyone's aware of what the dates are for closure, what the dates are of reopening. And we've been working through reminders with our student residences team. We, of course, recognize that this can be challenging for some students, and so we have committed to putting resources in place. We have a dedicated off-campus housing advisor that is helping students find accommodations off-campus in general, but also specifically to help us with this summer. That individual is actually in the room, and so has already started helping students. We also have limited emergency funds available to support students if they are having financial hardship. And again, that advisor is working with students as we speak to help them with their specific needs. And our student residences team is also there to help. So we recognize that we have some students whose semester continues a little bit later than the spring April timeline. So we do have a few staggered deadlines. We encourage everyone to reach out to your housing team or our housing advisor as you are experiencing any challenges to receive personalized support. So this is a very active file. We're very conscious of this. We're working very closely with the host society as well to make sure that our timelines align as best as possible. But this is something that we just want to share to make everyone aware of kind of what supports and sort of how we're trying to manage that situation. Finally, that does bring us to thank you and our Q&A. Again, we've got a wonderful turnout here in the room and online. We're going to do some microphone magic here now in a couple seconds, potentially. We've got 2 individuals in the room with microphones if there are questions in the room, and Allison's monitoring the online discussion if there are questions online. And myself and Karen generally are happy to have discussion, again, recognizing we are still 149 days out from the games. There are still opportunities to plan, have conversation, and we remain and will continue to be engaged as we can with all of our various stakeholders. So I'll just open it up, Q&A. Does anyone have any questions here in the room or online? Yes, we have one back here. Brenda's going to come to you. We just need on microphone so they can hear you online.
Yeah, so I'm just curious, is there any specific intervention their school is taking to help students to find alternative housing? Because I'm an international student here on campus, and I'm being forced to leave the campus as I am, I know like we have some renovations on the go. So the only help I receive from the housing office is I receive an email, they send out a list, they have a list of potential landlords that we can contact them. So I wonder is any like specific intervention the school is placing to helping students.
So thank you very much for being here today and asking the question. So again, we did send some reminders out to our students just recently, and we will be continuing that to make sure the message is out there. And again, reach and frequency is really important. So we do have supports available through our housing advisor. Again, just for the purposes, HIFSA, if you don't mind just standing for a quick second. I wonder this might happen. So this is HIFSA. HIFSA is our housing advisor. And so HIFSA is here specifically to help individuals that may require assistance finding other accommodations. So HIFSA started with the university a few weeks ago and is available at international@mon.ca. And again, depending on your program, if you are required to be on campus, there may also be some other dates that we can look at, and that is with our housing team that you can work with them. We do have limited emergency financial support also available depending on a case-by-case basis, and HIFSA, again, is sort of the gateway to that conversation. So right now, again, we've tried to provide information as early as possible to help everyone sort of understand sort of what's coming and to provide lead time because we know that housing market can be challenging. And again, we do have a dedicated support that can also help. So at the moment, those are sort of the supports. But if and as you encounter other challenges, certainly discuss with housing, discuss with their housing advisor, and this conversation is ongoing, certainly.
Yeah, so I have a second question because I would like to like remind everyone, so international student here, we are kind of like vulnerable students here. So I just curious, is any like intervention that is like we have a close lenders like helping those vulnerable students? Because like I have to be honest, like I consider we are the most vulnerable student here because we don't have a family here, and it's really hard for us to move around. And especially, we have a hustle bustle of this semester going, and it's really hard for us to find a time to do the viewing and to do all the stuff. And we are facing like potential scam from the landlords. So it's really, really challenging. And on-campus housing, in a way, is already our homes and is like our community here. So, and just all of a sudden, like, it's being taken away. So I'm just curious if any intervention is specific, is helping those vulnerable students.
So again, I very much empathize and appreciate your comments. I will just say to start that, again, the vast majority of our accommodations as we move into April turn over to guest accommodations. We do currently have 2 licensed buildings within Burton's Pond that we have specific challenges with and that we're working specifically with students. So specific supports, interventions, I will say. We recognize that there are certainly some students who are more vulnerable than others, and you've just articulated very good examples of that. And again, we definitely hear that, we understand that. I chatted with HIPSA just yesterday to get a sense of how many students had reached out to date. So far, we've had under 20. We've had about 17 students as of yesterday who have reached out for conversation. And a number of them are exactly what you just articulated, that many haven't lived off campus before and don't know how to search for housing or what the process looks like. HIPSA is here specifically dedicated to help students who need that support, vulnerable or not vulnerable, to make sure that as that transition happens for that limited number of students, that we are supporting as best we can. Again, I will mention the specific intervention also, that we do have limited emergency supports available financially that HIPSA is aware of and can speak to individuals on a one-to-one basis. There are also limited emergency funds available through our School of Graduate Studies, through our Office of Student Life, regardless of this summer, that provides supports on a one-to-one basis. So my main message to any student that has concern right now, that isn't sure what their situation will be for the summer, is reach out to the supports. And again, I'm just going to throw it, maybe if I can find my clicker, up on the screen there, that international@mun.ca is really my preferred option for anyone who's looking for support right now. HIPSA is here dedicated to support students with the summer and beyond. So please reach out so that we know what the challenges are specifically and we can develop personalized supports.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for the question.
All right.
Thank you. Are there others? Okay, we have something online.
I do have some onlines if we can.
Sure, we can take one online.
So there's definitely some volunteer questions here. So I'll kind of kick off with a couple of those. So a question around the 32 hours. So this is directed to Karen and the host society. So again, would love to volunteer. Not sure, I guess Karen and Lori in the room, not sure if we can do a full 32 hours. Are there shorter volunteer opportunities if I still want to volunteer with the games?
We're going to share. No, no. Is there another mic? Okay.
Hello? Okay, great. Sorry, I'm just going to stand up so I'm not back on to everybody. Yes, so right now one of our requirements is we're asking volunteers for a commitment of a minimum of 32 hours over the 2-week span of the games time. While that is encouraged, if you are able to do less hours than that, we still ask that you apply. We are giving priority to those who can commit the minimum hours. There certainly is other one-off opportunities that will come up. We did see it discussed that the approval for volunteer hours prior to the start of the games is an opportunity. So those one-off opportunities such as opening and closing ceremonies, as well as some special events, the commissioning, decommissioning, the turnaround day, those are all certainly going to need a lot of support, and that's something we can work with people and their availability should they only be able to do less than the 32. So I highly encourage everybody to still apply. And by all means, if you need any further assistance with that, you can reach out to our team at volunteer@2025canadagames.ca, or you can call our volunteer services team at any time at 570-2600, and we can certainly help you through that process.
Thanks, Lori. And I guess this is just a follow-up clarification around the 32 hours, but more from the memorial side, that if 32 hours is required and they use the 2 days of volunteer leave, will they be required to use their annual leave or personal leave to make up the other hours?
Yes, so again, the general answer there is you should speak with your human resources advisor and your supervisor if you're interested in this leave type, and they can provide exact instruction. My other note to add would be that there are a number of volunteer opportunities with the Canada Games. Not all of them are Monday to Friday, pick your hours, 8:30 to 4:30, 9 to 5, what have you. So there may be opportunities where you can volunteer for 32 hours, work with evening weekend commitment plus the 2 days during the week. But if you were interested in doing it during the week, again, speak to your supervisor. But my general response would be yes, you would be required to take some other form of leave to make that work, unless you're finding opportunities that are outside of your general working hours. Anything else in the room? Any other questions in the room while Alison scans online? Michael, did I do a good job with that one? There we go. I was like, where's Michael? There he is. Okay. Any other questions in the room? Hey, Alison, any other questions online?
Oh, yes, I've got more coming in. So now I'm going to just flick over to transportation for a little bit. So this actually is probably a good question for Karen. Will Metrobus service to the university be impacted during the games? Do you have any Metrobus updates?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. No, there will not be. We are working really closely with Metrobus, and anyone with an accreditation will have access to Metrobus throughout the whole 18 days of the games, but there will be no impact to the services that Metrobus will be providing to the citizens within the St. John's area and other surrounding communities.
Thanks, Karen. Take turns. Anybody else in the room? Still me. All right, so this is a parking question. So I guess just questions around parking lot monitoring. So this one is specifically a question around 15B, but I think this would apply to maybe any of the busier lots. So how will parking lot 15B or others be monitored? Will there be overflow parking?
So at the moment, again, we've done the assignments based on what we understand expect capacity to be. Again, as we refine these plans, we're working with Canada Games Host Society right now on the final traffic, transportation, parking management plan. So there may be some updates, but generally speaking, we've done the assignments based on what we expect capacity to be. We will do our best to offer overflow lots. And again, our priority as Memorial University is sort of management and oversight of the permitted lots. And so that's really where we're going to be focusing some of our campus enforcement attention, as well as if we need some volunteer support just based on the volume. Host Society is responsible for the lots that are being licensed to the host society. So again, we recognize that this is going to be a priority for Memorial, and so we are going to be trying to do some monitoring. We expect this will be mostly a challenge sort of during the 8 to 2 p.m. period, less so in the hours after, but we are planning to have some individuals sort of present to help with this, and we will be taking stock as the games unfold. So again, I should also say that in the iterative and incremental mindset, that as we get into this, and if adjustments need to be made a day or two into the games, we will also communicate those. But with our lead time we've had available, discussion with other universities, understanding traffic patterns and parking patterns here in the St. John's area, we've made the assignments based on our best guess and our lot counts and understanding what campus density might look like. So again, we will have some on-the-ground presence to help with monitoring. We will also have an overflow plan as possible. We are again encouraging everyone in their units to think about carpooling, public transportation, if there's a remote work arrangement for you, if you're using annual leave, et cetera, that helps with density. But this will be an active file, no doubt, as we move through the games. Are you okay, Rob? Okay, thumbs up, good.
More parking. So a couple more parking questions. So this is about accessibility. So I have issues from an accessibility lens for the proposed parking shuffle reassignment, but I'm not a Blue Spot permit user. Is there a place I can reach out to talk about accommodations?
Yes, so again, the best answer there is if and as you're experiencing challenges relating to parking, parking at mun.ca is the right route. It would not just be for Blue Zone. Again, I'm not in this area, but I know there's also individuals who may be eligible for Blue Zone that don't have a Blue Zone permit, so that may be a conversation. But generally speaking, if you do have specific questions about parking relating to this summer or specific accommodations that may be required, the email address there on the bottom of the screen, parking@mun.ca, is your best option, and you'll receive individual support. And I got another nod from that side of the room, so we're good.
All right, so this is actually related to very specific type of parking. So it's motorcycle parking, and we noticed that because I guess motorcycle parking is normally in the residence area, have we thought about where motorcycle parking might be reassigned, or I guess an alternate or a plan for motorcycle parking?
So funny story, I'm also a motorcycle permit holder, and I was thinking about this one last night, wondering if I was getting a discount and where I was going to park. So I wondered this too. There are a few motorcycle permitted lots on campus. I do know this for a fact. But my general question right now would be, again, if we're experiencing challenges with motorcycle parking, we will communicate. But we will take that one down right now to have a further conversation. So again, if you go back to the website, next version of this thing might have a specific row for motorcycle parking. So I do take that as a note for us to take away. But again, reach out to parking if you have questions. But I do know there's a few lots on campus that you can avail of. So we'll work through that one. Thank you for that question. Anyone else in the room? Anyone else in the room? Anything else, Allison? Okay. We have over 200 people online, so like it's not unexpected that it might be disproportionate online, so it's okay.
Yep, we're still parking. So another question around overflow. So typically overflow would be in designated areas. Do we have overflow or alternate overflow plan for that time?
So my specific response will be that we will communicate that update, again, recognizing that some of those lots are involved here. So we will communicate what the overflow plan looks like for the campus community. Again, I think that's a great point being raised here this morning that we'll include in our planning as we move forward. So that's great.
Okay, and just having a look at the room. So this question now shifted, thinking more about security. Will there be extra security or a police presence during the game? So maybe that's a shared Karen/Jordan question.
So specifically, and again, we've been working through this with our local here on campus, and we have signed a memorandum of understanding. So we have worked to clarify roles and responsibilities between our campus enforcement and Canada Games event security. So Canada Games will have its own event security relating to areas that are being used for the games. Some of those will be professional services. Some of those will be volunteer services and roles and responsibilities. So Canada Games will have their own presence here of event security that they're responsible for. Our own campus enforcement and patrol will be active and present on campus. We have been monitoring, again, load. We have been having conversations with management around responsibilities and load management during that time. Again, in the business continuity template, there is a note there about campus enforcement services. And if there are emergencies, what you should do and what protocol to follow, that is no different, say, during today versus this summer. So again, we will make sure we reinforce some of that language on the website, but generally speaking, we have been working with the union, we've been working with management to ensure that we have a sufficient complement for Memorial University core needs, and then Canada Games is responsible for their own event security needs. And I will say that we are doing joint planning exercises, emergency response exercises, tabletop exercises to make sure that we understand the command control division of responsibilities during the games, so that as best we can, there are no cracks and gaps between scope and responsibility, but it will be an integrated approach between the two, but we do have specific areas of responsibility. Anyone else in the room? Oh, we do have one in the room. Rob Ball, come on down. Hang on a second.
Not as much of a question as just a point of consideration. The library, as you know, will be open for business. So there needs to be some consideration or communication given for members of the public, because we have members of the public who use our resources for research, archives, the Center for Newfoundland Studies. So something to keep in mind when it comes to parking.
Excellent. No, and that's a great consideration too, Rob. And we are working with Marketing and Communications on a broader communications plan to try and make sure we share all this information in the lead up to the games. Again, we're at a point in time right now of March 11th, 2025, 149 days out. So this will continue to be refined. We'll make sure we get it out because we know not everybody's here today. We know that there will be some changes, so we will continue to refine that message. But great point there in terms of public access to campus specific to the library, but others as well. So thank you. Anything else in the room? Anything else online? No? Okay. Well, I do want to just say, again, a really big thank you to the Host Society, to Katie, to all the wonderful partners we have here in the room and online, that this is a large project. This has taken many hands to make light work. And I do want to express my appreciation for everyone here online, in person, and to the Host Society and Katie. Again, this will continue to iterate. This will continue to evolve. So stay tuned to our communications channels, to our website. Please reach out. And again, this is what's on the last slide there. These are your points of contact. So we do have our own website. We do have an email that goes straight to myself and Allison. We do have an email that goes straight to our housing advisor. We do have an email that goes straight to housing. So those supports are there. I will also do one final shout out that you may have noticed if you went to the bookstore, that we do have Canada Games merchandise available in our bookstore now, as well as 100th anniversary merchandise that Andrea is wearing proudly in the back of the room. So we do have a mobile setup here in the back. If you want to just take a look for now or later, we do have Canada Games merch on sale and 100th anniversary merch on sale. Otherwise, thank you everybody for coming to our Campus Engagement Session 2025. We really look forward to an exciting summer. Please do reach out if you're interested, if you have questions, if you want to engage in our activation and experience opportunities. Otherwise, thank you to everyone in the room and online if I'm waving to you. It's been a wonderful morning. Thank you, everybody.